Okay, I'm kind of chuckling at the comments already because I'm sure there's going to be some judgmental shit down there. But these videos really aren't for me. I mean, I like to get my thoughts out, but I figure if you're watching this, you're seeking something right now, and maybe I have that perspective you're seeking. So I kind of just say this stuff for the people that need to hear it because I don't anymore, and I have the confidence to put it out there and be judged or criticized or whatever. So, anyways, I want to talk about my journey in being a dom, and more specifically, kind of falling under the daddy dom category. And I say kind of falling under because I really don't like a lot of BDSM terminology. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the psychological aspects of it and then anything else. I guess technically I am a non-age playing daddy dom, but I mean, it's interesting because it's like we have this terminology and it's where I fit most, but I don't relate to a lot of it, and it's a super individual, personal thing to me, much like religion or food choices or all kinds of things. And there's a community for it, but I don't really feel like I fit into that community or belong in that community. I'm in it because there's like-minded people, and I want to meet like-minded people, but I don't necessarily relate, and it's not a lifestyle for me. It's just me. Like, I frequently hear people say things like, well, how much experience do you have as a dom? And I'm like, my entire life. I mean, was I always true to that? No. But was I always that? Yes. This is my personality. This is me. This isn't something I put on. This isn't something that's for pretend. This is consistent, everyday, natural me. So, I prefer other terminology. At the end of the day, I think that a daddy, like, I feel like a little girl needs to be wanted and a daddy wants to be needed. And those are feelings. Those are feelings that we're seeking. I think in general, we're always seeking a feeling. Every action, every choice, everything we do, whether it's a car we buy or a way we want to look. I mean, me right now, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and I put this shirt on. I just took a shower. I have on scrubs. Like, this is like what I'm gonna wear to bed. I'm just gonna take my shirt off. But I put this on because I wanted to look a different way for this video. So we're always looking for a feeling, and we don't always pull back the curtain for people to see what our motivations are. Sometimes we don't even know. Sometimes we're hiding that stuff. But I feel like BDSM is no exception. We're seeking a feeling at the end of the day, whether or not it's to feel empowered, whether or not it's to feel a lack of power, whether or not it's to feel important, worthy, humiliated, whatever it is, we're seeking a feeling. And this is obviously no different. This is where I usually get a little off in my videos because I sort of lose my thought train. But what it's not is, it's not about oppression. It's not about oppressing a woman. It's not about control. Control is abuse. If you are being controlled, you feel controlled, call it an abuse hotline. Talk to people in the community. If you're with a partner that's trying to isolate you from people, friends, family, activities you enjoy, that's about control. That's about insecurity. That's a completely different thing. For me, being a daddy is about being super caring. It's about being nurturing. It's my desire to care for. It's my desire to feel needed by my partner. It's my desire to help. It's me trying to get these feelings met. And when I was younger, before I was really aware, I was sort of suppressing a lot of I guess feelings inside, or thoughts or things that aroused me or whatever. I sought out partners that needed fixing, if you will, or damaged partners, and found myself in a position of dating the potential instead of the person, and trying to help them, despite the fact that they didn't want help. I mean, it was a one-sided, non-symbiotic type dynamic that was just draining for everybody. As I started to come to terms with things, it's funny, actually, the first thing I really came to terms with is a feeling I suppressed for a long time, and it's that every time I would see an attractive woman crying, I was super aroused by it, and I just pushed that away. I never explored the thought. I was like, that's fucked up, Like, that's super messed up. What's wrong with you? And when I started getting more comfortable with this part of myself, I realized that it was my desire to care for. It wasn't the crying that aroused me. It was a desire to care for that person that aroused me. So I find that like I don't know, I find it like this very, very important part of a core need of mine, and I need to do it in a healthy way where it's an exchange and we're both getting something out of it. I do think that both people have the same intrinsic value, a sub and a dom. I don't think anybody is in a position of greater power. I feel like it's a beautiful dance where you have a strong leader and a follower. The Argentinian tango is a good example of that. Beautiful dance. It requires a strong leader and a strong follower, and both have the same value, the same intrinsic value, even though they play different roles. I also don't like timid or a doormat. I'm not an age playing daddy, so I don't want to color, and I don't like stuffies and pacifiers and things like that. I want a strong, assertive partner. I guess I would say I like an alpha female, or an alpha submissive, or a warrior princess, if you will. I'm a pretty active dude. I build a lot of things, and I want somebody that can do that stuff with me. I need to check in how long this is. Shit, I don't know if it like stops at 10 minutes or not. Maybe it does. God, there's no point in being that long. But so it's definitely not about wanting somebody that's passive or just bends to my will. I want to be called out on my shit, and I want to be challenged, and I want to be a team. I want to us. I think part of the dom sub stuff is having a power structure and a routine, and it creates a deeper bond. I mean, one of my most important things that I request or require in a partner is transparency, just always transparency, so I have the tools needed to best care for my partner. So I think it provides a outlet, like a conflict resolution, if you will. There's something in place to resolve conflict. I don't do bickering. I don't drag something on forever. Once something's done, it's dealt with, it's resolved, it's never talked about again. I don't think it's reasonable to bring stuff up over and over and over again. And I think the dynamic really provides for that type of structure and intimacy and connection, and it's very much so based on a feeling, not wanting to disappoint each other. And I think for a daddy and a little girl never wants to disappoint her daddy, or a sub never wants to disappoint her dom. And for a daddy, I definitely would never want to see a look of disappointment in my little girl's face, like I wasn't doing better. I mean, it definitely, or wasn't doing the best that I possibly could. It makes me want to be a better partner, for sure. I think it also, let me see how long this is. Okay, I think I got like a minute and a half, so I'm gonna just say this and then be done with this shit. But I think at the end of the day, a lot of us are sort of getting our biology hacked in relationships without knowing it. I think that's why the girls choose bad boys. I think that's why guys choose fixer-upper or project girls or partners. I think it's because we're trying to get a feeling met. And for me, and the dynamic's really just about serving the greater good of the us. And it's about rewiring your brain to trigger your own internal reward system differently. So instead of trying to serve yourself in the relationship, when you serve us, you know that improving us improves yourself, and you still get that same trigger. Even if it wasn't necessarily the very best thing for you, if it was the best thing for the us or the relationship dynamic, it improves you, and it puts you in a better position. So I think that's about all I have to say on this. If you have any questions, feel free to comment. Feel free to unlike my shit, unsubscribe, troll the fuck out of the comments, use the hell out of ad blocker so you're not having to deal with ads. And I guess that's about all I got to say on this shit. if I miss anything, I'll leave it in the description. And if you have any questions or whatever, feel free to ask. I know this is a tough topic for people, and it's hard to be true to yourself. It's really hard to come to terms with some of this stuff that society says isn't okay. So if you're struggling, reach out, find help, talk to people, and be careful. Like, have a buddy system, check in with people, ask if this is okay, if that's okay, and take good care of yourself.